Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the Twin Astrology weekly forecast for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. So welcome into a brand new week of very intense cosmic energies. I do feel as we're full swing into Libra season, we also have Venus entering into the sign of Libra this week, and we have Mercury finally turning direct at the end of the week. So I think there's still some lingering confusion in the energies and a lot of oppositions that have kind of been playing out, especially coming out of that Venus opposition Mars energy. We also have Venus and Pluto connecting today in the energies. So this is creating a trine aspect, which is going to trigger some very deep passion being ignited, especially in the masculine twin when it comes to this deep love and this twin flame connection. So I feel a lot of the masculines are being asked to set aside any jealousy or possession issues, and they're kind of being pushed into this readiness is kind of what I'm feeling. So I think we're headed into a very intense week of energies. And this can be the perfect time to reignite this romance between the twins. And so the masculine is going to have to put aside any issues of jealousy, though, and he's going to have to avoid getting drawn into the darkness in the karmic contract when it comes to all of these outsider karmic involvements within the connection. And with Venus trine Pluto, we're talking about deep soul sexual desire. It is a sexual energy in particular. And so it is this deep desire for this soul merge to take place this week. And I feel the masculine twin is feeling this desire to merge more than ever before is kind of what I'm feeling. And so right now the feminine is asked to hold her core when it comes to this magnetic attraction, because right now the feminine is strongly activated in this magnetism. And so I feel this magnetic attraction towards the feminine is deepening this bond. And so I do feel a lot of shadow darkness is showing up for many of the masculine counterparts, creating all kinds of triggering challenges when it comes to their insecurities and their fears about a committed relationship. And so jealousy is a big one. And I feel a lot of the masculines are going to be raging this week when it comes to all of these other people that kind of got in the mix when it comes to these past connections. And there's going to be intense shadows coming up. And I feel this desire to seek revenge on the karmic connections for the masculine counterparts. So I think divine feminine, you're going to want to be cool. You're going to want to be aware as the masculine kind of works through all of these shadows to face them and to heal them once and for all, because I do feel we're in this deep period of detox. So with the trine aspect today, there's potential for this blissful merging energy. And it's also a time where the masculines can get very much derailed by all of these triggers that are arising. And so we think Pluto energy, death, transformation, rebirth. And I already pulled into some cards, and that's what was on the bottom of the deck, the death card with the Seven of Pentacles. So it's kind of like long overdue for this transformative process to kind of be taking place. And so the Pluto energy is bringing forward this cosmic detoxification. And all of these shadows are being unearthed in the masculine's life to be released from his system. And so when the Venus energy is interacting with the Pluto energy, it is a sacral chakra purge is what I'm feeling. So fears, insecurities, worries about rejection from the feminine, and deep abandonment wounds are coming up when it comes to old experiences of not feeling worthy, not feeling loved, being worried. I think a lot of the masculines are worried they're not attractive enough for their counterpart, or they're worried that the divine feminine is going to end up meeting somebody else, and all of these fear-based thoughts are going to bring all of this unconscious into the conscious mind when it comes to these scenarios. And so the energy, I feel, is going to be very challenging for the divine masculine for the week ahead. But when this light is shining down on all of these worries and fears, the masculine is going to be given the opportunity to clear them and release them once and for all in order to finally open up to love fully with the feminine. And so we have to remember we have to be a match for this 3D physical union, and we can't be a match if we're still rooted in all of this fear-based energy. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are dealing with shame for making the wrong choice, resentment towards the karmic for creating all of these conflicting patterns in their life when it comes to this experience of unworthiness. And so right now the feminine's power is going to be in her magnetism. With Pluto trine Venus, I think the feminine is very much aware that her powers of attraction are on high. So you might be noticing a lot of people from the past coming back divine feminine. And this really is a good thing, right? Because we're clearing all of these older karmic connections. And I feel the feminine's energy is boosted this week, which is creating this magnetizing energy for the masculine counterpart very, very strongly. And I feel there's a lot of new suitors coming forward for the feminine with all of this intensity. And so I feel this is a week of deepening intimacy. The masculine is going to have to fall into total commitment to this connection. And so I feel this passion towards the feminine is bordering on the brink of obsession, and possessiveness is coming up to be cleared. And the masculine is being asked this week to finally release these toxic people once and for all, because with Venus also conjunct Mercury retrograde this week, both in opposition to Jupiter retrograde, I think this is amplifying this week of transformative powers. And so it is likely this week that we'll be facing the return of the masculine and all of these past themes in order to finally detox, to open up to these states of unity. And so I think the masculine is actually facing having to detox this toxic karmic person out of his life. He's being asked to release the karmic once and for all, or any outsiders that have been involved when it comes to family and friends. And so it's like this bye-bye energy, goodbye to all of these lower karmic cycles. And so I think for the feminine right now, things are kind of feeling like it's up in the air, which is creating this sense of feeling stuck and confused as to what's really happening with the masculine twin. Are we actually going to get a second chance to have that clarity, to have that closure, to finally shift out of these karmic timelines once and for all? Because I think right now the feminine is deliberately opening up to these new connections, because the masculine has not moved beyond the karmic cycles. And so this runner chaser separation dynamic has to be completely dismembered, destabilized in order for these new unions to come forward. And so we're not going to want to focus on the problem, because then we're going to get more problems, right? Divine feminine. So I think right now the feminine is being asked to be open to any possibility as the masculine figures out what he needs to release, what toxic patterns, elements, and people does he need to let go of as part of this spiritual purification and cleansing process. And so these could be thoughts, habits, perspectives, friends, exes, outsiders, old beliefs. So all of these karmic ties are breaking, are being released. And during this last phase of the Mercury retrograde, the clarity will be coming that we need to move forward. And we will be able to finally leave these lower cycles behind for good, is kind of what I'm feeling. And so the masculine is being asked to step out of his stubborn karmic energy, to release these blocks, to open up to the contract that we made this life, the promise that we made this life, to unite as souls in the physical 3D. And so we're in this huge detoxification period. And so this also means other people might be triggered and coming to you with their junk when it comes to past wounds. And it's best to just not take anybody's triggers personally at this time, and to just keep focusing on your own healing, Divine Feminine. Keep your attention on love, unity, and on this rise. I feel the feminine is beautifully rising into this brand new beginning, which is bring the masculine to that rock bottom of feeling unlucky in love, right? And so with Mercury retrograde, the Sun and Venus all opposing Neptune, the planet of illusion, and Jupiter, the planet of expansion, we got everything kind of under pressure right now in this pressure cooker energy. And so the masculine has been resisting releasing the past, or maybe the karmic has recently re-entered as a spiritual test for the masculine. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are feeling very much unsupported, like the feminine did at the beginning. They're feeling like nobody wants to help them. They're feeling like all of this energy is stacked up against them, and they're focused on these past disappointments. They're focused on what's gone wrong. And so this is a big part of this major spiritual purge and detox that is taking place, and this is coming up so we can get out of what's not our truth. And so the planets, all these retrograde planets, and Mars is slowing right down. So it's feeling like there's no progress, right? And Mars is going to be going retrograde on October the 30th. So keep tuned in. I'm going to do a Mars retrograde video one day this week to talk about the benefits of Mars retrograde for the twin flames. But right now we're all being pushed to recognize what needs to be released, especially when it comes to this martyrdom and this victimhood energy that the masculine's been playing into, and this idea of not being lucky and not feeling blessed as the feminine steps into her luck and her blessings. And so all of these deepened perceptions that have been blocking this connection are being called out, I feel, by these cosmic forces in order to shift any negative perspective issues. And so the opposition to Jupiter and Neptune is going to create all kinds of misunderstandings for the masculine to take the rose-colored glasses off this week. And so I feel as we prepare for Mercury to go direct and the Sun and Venus are moving on from this opposition, decisions, big changes on the horizon. And so the feminine is being asked to be flexible in the energies, to ebb and flow, to allow the energies to pass through you, and to only focus on your highest potential, your highest vision, your highest dream, and to be deeply rooted in self-love this week, because that's really going to help the masculine as he breaks free from this betrayal of self. And so Pluto energy is very strong. And so we're going to want to try to avoid paranoia. I also feel a lot of paranoia coming up for the masculine as he's easily getting triggered based on these past woundings. And that might create a rash decision being made. But I feel by the end of the week, perceptions are going to be shifted. I feel the masculine's been weighing out the pros and the cons when it comes to his karmic situation and making another decision. And I feel this push to follow through on what he truly desires and what he's truly passionate about, which is the divine feminine and this spiritual mission. And so the masculine twin, I feel, is finally paying attention. He's thinking about commitment. He's thinking about long term. And I think this week comes with a very big warning, because the masculine has not put forward efforts towards a commitment with the feminine. And so I feel as the feminine is focused on this ideal partnership, it's creating a lot of telepathic reconnection, I feel. A lot of the masculines have been receiving messages and dreams through signs and synchronicities. A lot of the feminines might find that somebody from the past is going to reach out online with a small message. I'm talking like past energy. I had a masculine come into my life recently over the last several days from like 20 something years ago. And so all of these past people are coming back, I feel, to trigger the masculine to take action. And so I feel right now the masculine is being shown the recognition of this commitment and to open up to it. And with Mars in the sign of Gemini, the twins, the masculine counterpart is being forced to take action and to progress. But this energy of wanting perfection is a block, I feel. And so I feel the masculine's intention is to try to come forward, but they're like desperately seeking answers at this time. They're trying to figure out how can they show you that they love you? How can they show you that they want to be together with you after all of the betrayal and the hurt during the separation stage? And so I think a lot of the feminines are being asked to journal because a lot of the masculines do want to come forward and confess this undying love. And what they're going through this week is not very easy for them, I feel. I feel they're being haunted in dream space. They're being haunted by the signs and the sinks through music, through people that they're connected with. And I feel like they're literally breaking down. They're breaking down in order to take a second look at this once and for all. And to finally see how hard the feminine has been trying to reach them telepathically when it comes to this undying love that the twins share. And so a lot of things are going to show up this week to shift our perspective is kind of what I feel is going on. And I feel the masculines are trying to figure out how do I get the feminine to trust me enough to look at me again in the face, because they're really stuck in all of these old rigid ways of thinking, which is creating this difficulty when it comes to embracing these changes. And what they keep resisting is going to keep persisting in order to get them to open up. And so with Venus entering Libra later this week on the 29th, this is a really positive placement. So it's like her second home after Taurus, right? And so when the planet of love returns to its home sign, this indicates balanced romantic relationships and harmony and diplomacy. And so these are going to be key things coming up. And I feel this is what's going to shift the masculine to be more open to consider the feminine's point of view when it comes to these connections. And then with Mercury turning direct at the end of the week, it's going to feel like a cosmic hangover is what I'm feeling. And so all of this confusion when it comes to communication is going to begin to lift. And so we're being asked to use these cosmic energies this week wisely. What have you been asked to release when it comes to these old outdated cycles, these old outworn timelines, in order to get to these higher perspectives, not only on yourself, but when it comes to exes, when it comes to your capabilities, your attractiveness, and this twin flame journey. And so we're going to have the Mercury shadow period, though, for a couple weeks after it turns direct. And so the further we get out of the shadow period, the more clarity we're going to have when it comes to love. Because when it turns direct, it is going to be in conjunction with Venus in its second home sign of Libra. And so I think this is going to be a week for immense soul passion and transformation when it comes to these connections. But we're going to have to channel our emotions wisely, and we're going to have to channel them into a state of unity, and we're going to have to really beware of jealousy and our shadow selves, because this detox is really going to benefit us. And I feel the masculine twin is really, really working on how to come forward and show you how loved you really are. So if you want to, if you'd like to dig deeper into your own connection, I would love to get you booked in for a twin flame reading to go further into any blocks that you might be facing. And so I'm going to go over some cards that I pulled early this morning into the masculine's energy, because I was in some very high states of transcendence. And when I'm in those states, I like to pull cards because the energy is usually very much on point, because I'm such a clear channel of the energies. And the very first card out we get this week, the Tower. So there's going to be an unexpected shakeup. There's going to be a breakdown of a foundation of beliefs. There's going to be unavoidable change for the masculine, and he's going to have to rebuild. So I feel a lot is being uprooted in the masculine's life. And I feel this is taking place, you know, at the beginning of the week with the Venus trine Pluto energies. And so when it comes to the higher self intentions of the masculine, we do have the Four of Wands, the Justice, and the Knight of Pentacles. So his intentions are to come forward and lay that new foundation. If you look at this Knight of Pentacles, it looks like he's been to war. He's been slow moving. You know, he's going through a detox with that black smoke coming out of his backpack. And so I also feel that that house of cards, or that glass house, has crumbled, has shattered. And, you know, it was a trick. It was a temptation, right? And so that Libra new moon come in to highlight the imbalances, I feel. And it's also this energy of the feminine called it, right? All of those cards were laid out, and now everything is kind of crumbling. And so the masculine's intention is to, I feel, allow the house of cards to fall. His intention is to come forward in that balanced energy, for that twin flame union with the feminine. And so I feel a lot of karma is playing out this week, and there is going to be movement. So the masculine, I feel, is working on controlling his emotions. He's in like this storm energy, right, with the umbrella. And he's getting ready to go full steam ahead, because what's hidden below the surface is the Ten of Wands with the Magician reversed. And so releasing the manipulation, Virgo, Gemini energy, consciously choosing to leave the darkness behind. And once again on this card, all of the tarot cards are falling to the ground. So that house of cards has crumbled. And ultimately, the overall outcome is this Ace of Wands, like coming out that victor for this union. And if you notice on here, it's like a golden hand holding this Ace of Rods. So, you know, I feel the masculine's all done, resting on his laurels. It's like the laurel energy. And then we get the Four Candles, which represents the Four of Wands. And that was coupled with the King of Wands, the Six of Pentacles. So two energies of balance and justice. The Nine of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. So, you know, taking those steps. He's looking out at the horizon and he sees the divine feminine. Strong, capable, grounded, you know, stable, doing very well, single, and wanting to come in and take that action. And so he's kind of been hiding, right? Hiding, not willing to take that role, that visionary leader role, and to sit on the throne. And I feel the wheels are turning, and now the masculine is going to be coming back begging for a second chance, because he's being pushed to take that action. And so right now, deep within the death energy, transformative energy, and it's almost like the feminine has turned her back, right? It's like the feminine's the Grim Reaper now, and she's taking one last look behind, and there's the masculine still prepondering. Do I come forward with that rose? Do I come forward with that offer? Because with the Seven of Pentacles underneath, it's like, time's up. It's time to plant these new seeds. It's time to make those new investments for the future that will lead to these lasting legacies. With the Ten of Pentacles, and once again, it's like the feminine called it, right? The feminine predicted all of this taking place. And so the rug is getting pulled out from under the masculine. He's not going to be able to keep playing into these addictions when it comes to masking the pain of this missed opportunity. Look at the skull. It's like the death energy again. So he's been sitting in this period of extended grieving, guilt, shame, remorse, regret, resentment, right? And that Five of Cups. And, you know, he thought he could, you know, go out and have his fun and, you know, mess with all of the karmic energies and drink and party. And he put the feminine's cup up on the shelf, thinking he could come back to this whenever he was ready for it. And the energy is saying you cannot keep putting the feminine up on the shelf and pretending like this problem isn't there. And so I feel something is going to be ripped out of the masculine's life in order for him to release these addictions of masking these pains. And so it's like it looks like red wine or blood in the cup. And so he's been drinking poison from the karmic energy, and there is going to be this re-alchemizing energy. The Temperance is, you know, the twins energy, alchemizing, balancing, Sagittarius energy. And he is definitely very much all up in his head, losing sleep, nightmares about what he put the feminine through, knowing that she does hold the key. She is the one that holds the flame within his heart. And so knowing that it's time to take those steps forward. So I do think progress, movement this week. So let's dig in with some illumination oracle messages. Look at secretly planning, I feel, to take a trip to see you. Mercury does deal with long distance, short distance travel. I also feel like taking a trip on Kundalini Airlines to release this past baggage. So, you know, the masculine's got a secret. He is secretly held on to this connection in his heart this whole time. And I feel all of that is bursting onto the scene. So we're going to see what other energies need to come through for the masculine. Yeah, so there is a storm brewing. We just got the universe has a plan. So that's that tower energy again coming through. I'm going to show you the cards as they're flipping out. Bottom of the deck. So there's that sadness and that loss. I feel finally going into the pain of the ending, right? With the feminine. And so we get the patience reversed, with receiving a message in reversed, with it's over, and dreaming about you. And so I feel a lot of the masculines were waiting for the feminine to reach out, and they're coming to this conclusion of, hey, she's not going to send me a message. That there's no message coming. And so I feel the masculine's losing patience. He's irritated. He's aggravated. He's dreaming about you. He's coming to this conclusion of like, oh my God, I really effed this up. It's over. I also feel there's been a delay in receiving a message about the karmic ending because of the confusion, right? The confusion, the disillusionment, trying to piece together the puzzle pieces. I also feel a lot of these masculines were con artists, and they met their match with the karmic who conned the con man. And so there is a huge emotional storm brewing below the surface. The masculine thought he could lock away this love on his heart and never have to look at it again. And ultimately, the feminine was the masculine's hopes and wishes. And so this confusion is dissipating. He is dreaming about you. So do pay attention to your dreams. Actually, on the weekend, pardon me, I'm getting over a little 3-day cold here. On the weekend, I woke up from a really strange dream, and my hair was, I went to get my hair done, and it was all dyed, all the different colors of the rainbow. And when I woke up, I did hear rainbow blessings. So it was a message of, you know, rainbow blessings. And you think about a rainbow, everybody's drawn to a rainbow, right? And so I feel the feminine's integrated all of these facets of self, and she's like this rainbow after the storm, right? Rainbow after the storm. And so he can't lock away this pain on his heart, and so he's going to have to release this pain. He's going to have to feel the ending, because there will be no change without feeling the ending. And I also feel a lot of ancestral guardianship around the masculine. And I feel maybe the masculine's been waiting for you to reach out since his birthday or something. Or maybe he's been waiting to take action to make those plans when it comes to this regret. But I don't feel the masculine has fully released the pain yet. So let's take a look at some of the past life lessons coming through. Expression and guide. Expression and guide. So we'll see what needs to come through. The guide. So the energy is preparing the masculine to guide him and to travel towards the feminine, who I feel is very cultured, and I feel the masculine right now is very much curious when it comes to going towards you, which he's only dreamed of at this time. And so I also feel with the widow, a widower came out in reversed. I feel there's definitely been an ending in that karmic contract. There's been a loss of that contract, and I feel the masculine fears, and you know, he's going to spend the rest of his days longing for the feminine. There's definitely been a breakdown of that false family structure. And so this is where the masculine, I feel, taps into this amazing creative potential. And so right now, yeah, He's held this secret love deep inside his heart, thinking that he could protect his heart from feeling the love. But if you want to feel the love, you have to feel the pain of the ending and of the separation. And so right now, a challenge is greed for the masculine. Greed, because right now he has succumbed to all of these fleshy desires, lust, these fleshy materialistic desires, and he's learning not to cling to material possessions. So in order to ascend the 3D reality, you have to lose it all, and that's part of the journey, is losing everything in the material world, because a lot of these possessions and money and greed has held power over the divine masculine. And so this really hasn't fulfilled this lack deep inside him, because he's secretly been pining for the feminine, and he's been playing into this victim mentality. And so a challenge this week, I feel, is the masculine gaining his strength and his fortitude to take his power back, because I feel a lot of the feminines are stepping into being recognized as that spiritual leader. They're building themselves up to have this household name publicly, and they're coming into recognition, fame and recognition. And I feel the masculine is feeling like a criminal. They may even have resorted to some crime or victimizing others. And so now they got to pay that back this life, which is where this victimization is coming from. And so all that wealth that they've gained, I feel, is going to be stripped from them. And that's because they were not willing to give. And so a big lesson in self-worth, because possessions can never give you the worth that you need. And so let's keep going here, guys. And I would like to pull in to the feminine's energy. So so there's where the feminine's been, I feel, all trapped up in her head, wondering when the masculine is finally going to rise to the occasion. Is the masculine ever going to be that visionary leader, that passionate leader that I was shown he was to be? And so breaking free from any fantasy illusions about the connection. So we're going to get the feminine's current energy for the week ahead, and see what needs to come through for the feminine. So we get the Ace of Swords in reverse. I would like to get another one on that for the feminine. There we go. Knight of Swords reversed, with the King of Wands and the Four of Swords. So healing from any illusions, right? I also feel healing from the pain of the denial of this connection. How quickly the masculine departed and blocked communication. And so I also feel the feminine is healing her own inner masculine, accepting the truth of the matter that the masculine just was a liar. He was a liar. He lied about his emotions. He lied about what was true on his heart. He quickly departed the situation. And so it was like the feminine had to sit in this broken heart, the truth of knowing who the masculine was and his potential. And so a lot of us fell in love with the potential, right? And the masculine never did come forward in that potential. And so the feminine, I feel, is releasing that core wound of not feeling worthy, right? And so that was a huge lesson. And we usually go through this healing process with complete and total blocked communication. So a message from the feminine's higher self, we get the Magician with the Seven of Pentacles, the Three of Swords in reverse, the Page of Wands in reversed. And so shedding the old to bring in the new, and finally healing from that missed opportunity, really owning your strengths, your powers, and your gifts. And you're like, I don't care that this communication is blocked. I'm taking that leap of faith. I'm going in a new direction, and I'm healing from that backstabbing betrayal of the third party energy from the masculine once and for all. So the feminines are coming into a brand new cycle, all done with the confusion, all done playing into illusions, and the feminine really is stepping into some very beautiful energy with the Sun, the Strength card, and I feel stepping into the fame, right? You think of Leo, stardom. And so I also feel the feminine has recently had a lot of love offers coming in, and clarity on which cup to choose. No more confusion as to which cup to choose. Yes, so a lot of messages coming in, a lot of potential suitors. Yes, a lot of potential suitors for the feminine because you've manifested this, right? Your ships are coming in, divine feminine. The wait is over, which is what is creating that rug being pulled out from under the masculine. And I feel the masculine is very angry, very bitter. He's watching. He sees you've got love offers coming in, resentful, and that's going to push that apology forward. So what's hidden below the surface for the divine feminine for the week ahead? Ooh, victory. Victory. Two of Cups. There is a spiritual connection coming in for the feminine. There is healing taking place, and what's below the surface is the masculine's finally getting ready to come out of the spiritual closet. He's done a lot of introspection. His perspective is shifting. It's time to come out. And finally, yeah, release that burden. Finally, the burden is being released. And so overall outcome for the feminine, there is going to be a rebalancing. There is going to be a rebalancing when it comes to this cup not being accepted. And I do feel the masculine is coming in, making that decision to build a grounded, solid foundation with the feminine. So get ready for lovers from the past to be popping up. Ghosts of exes past to be popping up this week for the feminine. I think you're stable, you're grounded. There is a rebalancing here. And I also feel there's going to be movement when it comes to this missed opportunity. I feel the feminine's no longer looking. And when we stop the search, that is when the masculine can come back, and there will be a new foundation being laid. So the Chariot on both ends. So success, victory, and a major shift in perspective as to what it is I want to put the work into. Because we're all done playing into addictions. We're all done playing into fantasies. And I also feel with the world reversed, something coming back around when it comes to, you know, releasing any unrequited lovers, unrequited love situations, preparing for a new cycle. So let's get some rose messages, the Rose Oracle deck, and we get the Brothers of the Rose and the Morning Dew. Beautiful energies this week. So the sacred masculine is being asked to honor and protect and support the divine feminine. And there is going to be a moment of clarity when it comes to a fresh start and a positive new outlook for the week ahead. Oh, that one come out right away. So healing is happening. A week of healing, purging, and cleansing. So we're going to have to trust in the process this week. Because as the feminine embraces this sacred union from within, the beloved from within, and we restore our inner relationship with ourselves, all of our outer relationships can shift divine feminine. And so right now I feel the masculine is feeling the thorns of the feminine's very clear boundaries. The feminine is being asked to protect her energy, and this is going to bring in clear communication. A fresh new start as the masculine goes through this shedding and this deep spiritual change, death and transformation. And so right now I feel the masculine is learning to be his own inner mother, to get to a place of innocence in order to come forward in that gentle tenderness, true masculine energy. And so we are becoming grounded with these unions. We are the embodiment of Christ, and we are here to live in union within these connections. And so right now, the sacred masculine is being asked to rise. So let's read into the sacred masculine energy, the Brothers of the Rose. So on page 64, breaking down to a 10. So that's feeling like completion, right? And so the sacred masculine, I feel, is being called to balance out his life, to balance out his karma. And I do feel since that last new moon, we are preparing to birth this new earth timeline. And so the sacred masculine is something that the divine feminine needs along her journey. I feel a lot of the feminines can no longer go it alone. And so right now, the masculine is deep in honor and reverence of the feminine. Communion is what I heard. Recognizing the true goddess of his life, which is not the karmic entity. And so the energies are asking the masculine to commit to protecting and living in devotion to the divine feminine. And so whatever's been overpowering the masculine, he's going to have to conquer those lower vices without being defensive. And so I do feel the masculine is being called to work on his sacred energy. He's being asked to mature and to rise in the energies this week. And there's a lot of deep ancestral healing coming forward when it comes to the paternal line on the masculine side. And so he is being called forward in this spiritual invocation is what I'm feeling. And so I feel all of these energies are kind of encircling the masculine when it comes to him doing this sacred work so that he can return to the true goddess, the divine feminine. And so he is being called to work on his inner sacred masculine energies. So let's get a couple last closing messages with messages from Spirit for the week ahead. And I am going to channel and journal about the energies that came through specifically for the divine masculine. And so we're going to talk about those in a separate video. And so right now I feel a big lesson the masculine is learning is how he has compromised his morals, his values, and his integrity just to be connected to somebody so he's not alone. And so the circumstance the masculine is in right now, he is finding himself not worthy of, right? It's not worthy of his time. It's not worthy, you know, of spending all this worrying about it. And he is being asked to release because he has compromised his value. And so right now, the masculine has lacked his strength and his fortitude to overcome these obstacles because he's been dealing with all of these karmic people and these karmic circumstances that have been serving as a test of his spiritual will, of divine will. And so he really does need to get honest with himself for once and for all when it comes to stepping into maturity and recognizing, hey, this lesson has been learned. This relationship was put on my path to serve to teach me something important. And I feel right now, all the masculine can think about is the feminine and how grateful he is to have that lighthouse in his life, because the feminine's light is so bright and so about getting honest about what's their true heart's treasure. So I feel a week of epiphanies, a week of recognizing that wisdom has been achieved, a week of masculine maturity and learning. And so I do feel the feminine has been very patient, very observant. I don't think you have all of the information yet. I think there's something else to be learned. So for the feminine this week, spend that time in quiet meditation. Trust that the masculine is going through his own unique spiritual experiences and karmic experiences on his own journey. So refrain from judging, but the masculine is going to have to have the brakes put on when it comes to these toxic people and situations, and a huge purifying of his space when it comes to anything that's not serving his highest good. And so this huge refocusing, this huge recentering and self-awareness, a week of self-awareness, a week of new perspectives. So that's what I got for the week ahead, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, check out that description box below, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.